All right. Good morning. Another edition of Push Press Good Stuff Daily. Zach's got his hat and coffee on and his,
I'm ready to go.
looks like in Woodsec.
In what?
In Woodsec? Is that what it's called? Witness protection?
Oh, wait. I was like, what are we talking? I thought you said Woodstock. I was like,
Woodstock.
never
Yes.
been, but I heard it's good.
No more Woodstock, man. They canceled
Yeah.
everything this year.
Oh yeah.
Hey, did you see that article by CNN? Let me pull this up here. What was it titled?
Yeah, we got that.
With lobbying push, gyms get on phase 1 of Trump's reopening plan.
Yep.
I thought it was really interesting. There's a lot of things to kind of pull out from there.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that people were surprised by was that gyms were even considered in the first place. I know when I was reading the PDF that the State Department had put out, and I noticed that last little bullet point, like that gyms were being included, I was like, huh, that seems like it was a mixture of surprise and curiosity. Because I would have thought that other businesses, our industry is relatively small compared to some other big businesses.
Well,
I was
that
surprised to
and
see us
like
on there.
just the in terms of it being phase 1 and social distancing being a big kind of piece to this, that gyms wouldn't be necessarily in phase 1 of that because social distancing is a little bit harder to control, specifically in larger gym environments.
Yeah, I think every business is going to have different uh, challenges when it comes to controlling social distancing. I can think of off the top of my head, uh, you know, 10 other businesses that keep people in as close proximity. What I would be most concerned about would be like gyms where direct physical contact is almost required by operations, namely stuff like gymnastics,
Yeah.
dance, or like MMA fighting,
MMA, right?
martial arts. I mean, but you could forego like partner training or sparring or stuff like that. But like you think of things like movie theaters, people are, inches away from each other in a nice cold environment. But it's easily overcome by saying like, hey, we're going to go
Yeah, sit
2 seat
apart.
distance, or
Right.
yeah, exactly. Or whatever it is. In the gym, I guess that is a little bit less controllable because you're going to have to because the station's already built into the ground. But I think I was most concerned because there are things that like movie theaters, for instance, they're tanking. Their industry is falling apart, and they do way more business than gyms. I was just surprised to see us even considered.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I mean, it kind of shows the power of who you know. Kind of from looking at
yep,
that article, it was, sons and friends of people in the industry and people in the White House. So there we go.
let's do this. Yeah, I just realized like I was completely blotted out. There we go.
um,
Yeah, so if you read the article, it kind of highlights some personal relationships. Like I think it said like Rudy Giuliani Son um, is connected to Trump somehow. Well, I mean through Rudy Giuliani,
right,
and
right.
I guess he owns some gyms or some fitness chains. The One of the directors on the board at the IHRSA runs like a political action committee for Trump. So and the IHRSA is heavily involved with the big chain gyms, Equinox, Gold's Gym, Planet Fitness, 24 Hour Fitness. So I mean, I think we're on there as some form of like second degree nepotism. No, it's not really, but
Yeah.
like it's politics. It's who you know, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, it's, I think my one takeaway from this is that it's, it's good that there's some representation, and that it's possible. I think going forward, it'd be even more beneficial to have a dedicated representation that's not, you know, not as politically connected, I guess, in that it's
one that's more
someone's son.
forefront, one that's more
Right.
obvious.
Right.
So it
Right.
doesn't seem like we're snaking our ways in because it's guaranteed. Like people are looking at this and being like, what did that industry do to get on there before these other industries?
Yeah.
Like we stuck out when it listed gyms and fitness centers. It's kind of like
That
relative
doesn't,
to
right.
that doesn't fit with everything else. So I don't know if that's an advantage or disadvantage. I mean, it's not really going to affect that view is not going to affect small business owners like CrossFit affiliate owners or individual yoga studio owners or stuff like that. However, it might put some pressure on them to be extremely prudent with their reopening tactics, just because if they're going to be the first back to business, they're also going to be the most susceptible. They're
Right.
most at risk for starting another outbreak.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of brings us to the next point is, I know the state of Georgia is kind of the center point right now, since they've announced that they're going to initiate phase 1 this Friday. And, with that, technically gyms and fitness studios and whatnot are able to open up, providing they follow guidelines and social distancing measures. But what I read in that article too was a lot of these larger gyms, at least, you're talking about your Lifetime Fitnesses, your Equinox, those guys, Orange Theory, even, they all said, at least according to this article, that they weren't going to open up this Friday, that it was too soon.
Right. Yeah, I think they're just happy to have the ball in their court, but yeah, it's probably because they are being prudent and they don't see that they have an actionable plan in place that will prevent another small scale outbreak. So I think it's good to see people being cautious in that sense. It's good to see people thinking about others' safety, their customers' safety, first and foremost. I think that's why they're hesitant to go with the state, but I think they're also happy that, hey, it's now on their own time. Like
Right.
it's the ball's in their court. They can
There's
do it
some
when
control
they're ready.
back here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I think this, that kind of is a leg up for smaller boutique gyms and fitness industries such as CrossFit or
Yes.
yoga and these small studios, because they're not up against thousands of people running through their facility every day.
Right.
It's a lot more controlled.
They're more
environment.
agile with their business. Exactly.
Yeah. So
They're
I
not
think
up
there's a lot
against
more
the
positives there.
bureaucracy. Yeah, absolutely. This is definitely an advantage for the boutique gym owner in the sense that, especially if the owner is there day to day, they'll be able to oversee and make changes and adapt to the scenario on the fly. Whereas these big companies and big corporations, they have to put out, new SOPs and new systems for the challenges, and they have to test and they have to go through approval processes and all that stuff, and it just slows them down.
I mean, it's that too, and I think it's just a lack of control in terms of the way that people interact with your business.
Customer, yeah,
if it's
100%.
class-based, you can exactly where to put people, how many to allow in a class. You can stagger classes, those kinds of things. But if you're an open access gym facility with just machines, well, how do you make sure that two people aren't using machines exactly next to each other? Like those kinds of things. It's harder to regulate that just because of the business model. So I think this kind of puts our gyms and our fitness businesses in a better position, so long as you do your homework and you have a responsible, fully well thought out plan for keeping people healthy.
Yeah, I agree. So the article kind of is a neutral one in that sense for me, because it's going to come down to each individual business practice.
Yeah, which I fully support.
Yeah, anytime the government passes power and authority back to the people or the businesses, the people that own the businesses, I think it's a better choice all around.
Absolutely. Well, cool. So what we'll do is we'll link, we've talked about this article for the past 10 minutes, but we'll make sure we link that article in the bottom of the show notes for this episode.
Yeah, definitely.
Give it a read, take a look at it. and let us know kind of what you're thinking in terms of how you would evaluate your kind of reopening, what criteria you'd be using. I know there's still not very clear guidance from the federal government in terms of what these social distancing measures should be and how it should be implemented specifically in gyms. But with a little bit of common sense, what would you kind of implement at your own facility once your state or your government allows you kind of open back up?
Yeah. What's your plan?
Yeah, what's your plan?
Yeah.
And
What's your plan?
and share your work. Share your
Yeah.
thought process, which is actually really key.
Show your work.
That's
Yeah.
going to be key
Well,
to communicate that with your members and your population.
it's going to allow you to justify your actions, and it's going to allow you to provide conviction. And that's the thing. That's the most important part. That's why customers go to you. If you can not only demonstrate the plan, but demonstrate why you believe in your plan, that will get other people to believe in your plan and support you. Yep.
Absolutely, man. Well, awesome, Zach. Let's wrap up for today. Lots of good information on this episode of Good Stuff. Again, if you found any value and you like what you hear, make sure you hold on, let me give him a coffee real quick. Like
Same thing, kind of.
Make sure you like or subscribe to our videos and YouTube channel. Share this with your friends. All right, guys.
Yeah.
We will see you mañana.
Catch you on the flip side. That's my sign off.
I need one of those.